I met her only once, and it was more than 8 years ago. But I still think of that day, especially at this time of year. It was, as it is now, late October. It was mild for the time of year, but gray and breezy, and I was finishing a coffee, taking my time engrossed as I was in a novel. I didn't even notice as she came into the cafe, but something made me look up. Perhaps I sensed her presence. Raising my eyes from the text, I saw her standing just inside the door, dressed from head to toe in black, glancing about her as she realized that there were no free tables. As I was nearly finished, I told her that I was about to leave and indicated that she was welcome to share my table. Looking back, I have often wondered why I didn't then leave straight away. Was it fate? I am not even sure I believe in such a thing, but for whatever reason I didn't leave. The waitress took her order, and I closed my book before draining the last of my coffee. Had I continued reading, would she have even spoken to me? Probably not, but then maybe it was fate. "Do you mind staying whilst I finish my drink?" she asked me. I was a little surprised by her directness. Even had I not wanted to stay, I doubt I would have been able to say so. But somehow I was curious. I imagine you're thinking that I was interested in her, an opportunist with a lucky break, meeting a lonely woman looking for company. But it was never like that. Not this time. Time plays tricks with the memory, especially at my age, and I sometimes wonder if I have a false memory of what happened that day, that it is only in retrospect that I have attached such significance to small events. Only once I knew her secret. That may well be the case, but all I can do is tell it as I remember it. And I remember a sense of intrigue, a growing sense of tension that held me tightly to my chair. I told her that I was in no rush to leave and that I was happy to chat with her. We spoke about the weather, the busyness of the seaside town for this time of year, how full the cafe was, and then just when I wondered if I had been mistaken, that this was a chance meeting of no consequence, she told me that her husband's funeral had been yesterday. She held her cup tightly with both hands and spoke in low tones, conscious of the fact that we were in a public place. Her quiet voice only served to draw me in closer, and I was transfixed by her story as, between sips of her drink, she told me that her husband had died rather suddenly. A week before his death, he had been unaware that he had been terminally ill. She never said, and I never explicitly asked, but I felt that she was still wearing the black mourning clothes from yesterday. They had been married just under 20 years, and from her reminiscences, I gathered that they had enjoyed a happy life together. He had been married to someone else when they met and fell in love. He had made it clear from the beginning that he wouldn't leave his wife, that no matter how intense their liaison was or was to become, it would always be limited. Everything changed when his wife had died unexpectedly. It seemed that fate had played a trump card. You can say now that it was a false memory, but I knew. I just knew before she told me that she had murdered his wife. But the strange thing was, she had no remorse for the murder. "I never doubted that I did the right thing," she told me, tears welling in her red-lined eyelids. Of course I felt sorry for her, but I know he was happier these last 20 years with me than he ever would have been with her. I was repulsed by what she had done and how she had told me, but I felt a tingling sensation throughout my whole body, like the feeling one gets when reading the last page of a great novel. A feeling of wanting to know the end quickly, but at the same time, never wanting it to end. I was also confused about why she was telling me, but somehow I felt sorry for her, and I uncharacteristically reached over the table and put my hand on hers. I asked whether he knew, either at the time or later. "No," she said. "I didn't tell anyone, and I never told him." She paused briefly before continuing. "I never would, but I wonder whether I should have told him. I am sure he would have been less happy had I done so. But does that make my secret right? Is our happiness somehow invalidated because it was based on a lie? Now that he is dead, does it matter anymore?" I told her that she had done the right thing in not telling him, perhaps because I sensed that this was what she wanted to hear. She smiled thinly and without pleasure. Rather abruptly, she rose from the table, placed a 5-pound note on the counter, and left the shop. Did she suddenly regret telling me her secret? Or did she leave, feeling that she had offloaded a huge weight? I never saw her again. I made some half-hearted attempts to find out more about her, but nothing that led directly back to her. But I have thought about that day many times since. The murder didn't really disturb me. She did what many people wish they could do. But the question she asked me has haunted me ever since.